AITA for throwing my engagement ring out window. I, 29F, have been with my fiancée, Dory, 31F, on and off since high school. We've known each other since we were babies. Our moms were childhood friends, so our families have always been close. Dory was my first love. We started dating when I was a freshman in high school, and we were each other's firsts in every way. I truly thought we'd be together forever. But when she graduated, she put our relationship on hold, saying she wasn't comfortable continuing while I was still in high school. She promised to wait for me, and though I was heartbroken, I accepted it. However, I later found out that during that time, she had emotionally cheated on me with another girl, someone she ended up dating. My friends encouraged me to move on, but I couldn't. I was devastated. When I finally graduated, I went to college 5 hours away with my two best friends, Theodore, 29M, and Mavis, 29F. I didn't date anyone for the first year, but in my second year, when I was 19, I met Hazel, 29F, and we got into a relationship together. We stayed together even after finishing college. Hazel and I lived together, along with Mavis, and she became deeply integrated into my life. My family adored her, my friends loved her, and even Dory's family liked her. The same was true for Hazel's family and friends. But when I was 25, Hazel broke up with me. Out of nowhere. She said she had lost feelings and wanted to explore life more. I was so heartbroken. The breakup hit me so hard that I quit my job and moved back to my hometown. Mavis stayed behind but moved in with another friend, and Hazel cut contact with all of us except for Theodore, who she still talks to today. Back home, I moved in with my little sister, Gypsy, 26F, who was 22 at the time. It was comforting to have my family and childhood friends close again. A few months after I moved back, Gypsy and I were invited to Dory's little brother Roland's, 19M, 14th birthday party, hosted at their parents' house. I knew I'd run into Dory, but I went anyway. The party was great fun. Dory and I talked. We reconnected as friends. I got to reconnect with everyone I haven't seen in so long. Dory was no longer with the girl she had left me for. They had been engaged, but it didn't last. After months of rebuilding our friendship, we started dating again. I realized I still had feelings for her, and we've been together ever since. A few days after our anniversary, she proposed with a stunning ring. We were excited and wanted to surprise everyone with the engagement. My sister, Gypsy, was throwing a big party to celebrate. For she and Roland had just moved into a small apartment together. They had been together for almost 2 years and worked hard to get their own place, so they wanted to celebrate. Dory and I thought it would be the perfect opportunity to announce our engagement. I asked Gypsy if she was okay with it, and she gave me the go-ahead. The party was set to take place at Dory and Roland's mother's house, which had a large field, perfect space for a gathering. On the day of the party, the guest list included my family, Dory's family, Gypsy's friends, Roland's friends, and a few of our own close friends. It was a big crowd, and when we announced our engagement, everyone was thrilled. I spent my time showing off my ring to Mavis and Gypsy, the three of us buzzing with excitement as we talked about wedding plans and shared our ideas for the big day. Then Theodore walked over, caught sight of my ring, and immediately gave me a strange look. I knew something was off. He pulled me aside to talk in private. Once we were alone, he told me that the ring Dory had given me was the same one she had used to propose to her ex. I was really astounded. I didn't know what to say. I didn't want a ring that once belonged to her ex that she had emotionally cheated on me with and left me for. I felt disgusted, honestly. I felt a wave of embarrassment and I started to tear up badly, as I struggled to process everything that was told to me. Dory eventually came over to me, but I couldn't face her. Instead, I simply told everyone I had to leave. Without further explanation, Dory and I left the party. The entire drive home, she kept pressing me, asking what was wrong. When I finally told her, my emotions got the best of me. I told her I knew about the ring and I yelled, telling her how humiliated I felt. I asked her if her family and friends had been aware. She admitted that she had told her mom and grandmother a few days before the party and neither of them had said a word. That was the breaking point for me. Without thinking, I rolled down the window, pulled the ring off my finger, and threw it out. Dory saw what I did and she immediately pulled over on the side of the road. She yelled at me, "Why did you do that?" I told her, "I'm not going to be tied to a ring that belonged to the woman you left me for and emotionally cheated on me. I deserve better than a hand-me-down, something that carries so much painful past for me. You proposing me with this ring makes me feel unimportant, like I'm not loved enough for you to choose something special just for me." Dory was terribly mad at me and she told me, "It's just a ring. So what if someone else wore it? We can create new memories with it. The past is the past. We were young and made mistakes, but you forgave me. Now it's time to move forward, or there won't be a wedding." I just told her, "That's fine with me." Dory got out of the car and searched for the ring in the dark, but it was gone. We drove home in complete silence. She slept on the couch that night, and for the next few days, we barely spoke. Then I got a call from Dory's best friend, Tina. She called me a huge dumbass for throwing away an expensive ring and said I was a spoiled, narcissistic brat who thinks the world revolves around me. She hung up before I could even respond. I broke down crying. Dory didn't care. She walked past me, even when I was sobbing on the floor. I felt so fragile, so weak. Mavis, my best friend, called and checked on me. When I told her everything, she immediately drove 5 hours down to see me and took me out for the day while Dory was at. Roland also reached out. He apologized, saying he had noticed the ring at the party but didn't say anything at the time. He later talked to Theodore and Gypsy, and now all three of them are furious with Dory. Apparently, Tina has been posting about me on social media, but Theodore called her out and exposed the whole situation. Now, the rest of our friends know, and many have reached out to support me. They assumed I knew about the ring and was okay with it because Dory and Tina had told them I was. Dory's mom tried calling me, but I blocked her. I also blocked Tina. Some of Dory's other friends, the ones I actually get along with, have reached out to check on me. My parents, especially my mom and dad, are furious with Dory and don't want anything to do with her anymore. I'm planning on moving out for now. Theodore had offered me to stay with him and his girlfriend. Roland and Gypsy have also told me I can stay, but I don't want to intrude on Gypsy and Roland's new apartment, so I'll likely stay with Theodore. Despite everything, I still want to work things out with Dory. But I feel like this is all my fault. She won't talk to me, she just ignores me, like she's soulless. Most of my friends understand why I threw the ring out. Mavis and Theodore said they would have done the same. Only Tina and Dory seem upset about it. Now, I just feel guilty. This has been one of the hardest times of my life. I hate what I have done to Dory. I feel like I haven't completely forgiven her. My friends and family say otherwise. WIBTAH, if I skipped dinner with my wife's friend who didn't invite me to her wedding. My 37M wife's 38F friend 37F is getting married in July. She was my wife's maid of honor at our own wedding 6 years ago. They've been friends for 15+ years. Recently we don't see her as much, given we have young kids and our social life has significantly narrowed, though my wife and her have a lunch out together every couple of months. The friend has been a little unlucky in love over the years, but about 6 months ago she found a guy and he popped the question about a month ago. My wife and I have met him once. The friend called my wife the day after she accepted. My wife was very excited for the wedding, both for her friend's sake and because we don't have many opportunities to get glammed up and go out. Anyway, my wife had lunch with her last weekend and found out that I am not invited, just my wife. When the friend was maid of honor at our wedding she didn't have a +1 to even invite, but we would've. When we planned our own, wives/husbands were just invited as a matter of course. This has really hurt my wife. I understand that they are trying to contain numbers, but I know the venue can take 3x what they're planning. There's also no blanket, no +1 rule, just not everyone's partner can come, not sure of the criteria. There's no other reason to account for the non-invite, interpersonal dramas and the like. It's a bit perplexing. My wife is now sad she'll be riding solo, as other than the bride she won't really know anyone. She will still go and put on a happy face to support her friend though, and doesn't want to cause any trouble. I would think as a matter of etiquette and respect you would invite the husband of the woman you were maid of honor for, a genuine friend who has been there for her many times over the years, including some distinct events within the last year or so. Anyway, we had planned already in the next few weeks for a double date with them, but now I don't really want to go. We had assumed it was to show off her new fiancé to us both, and was planned before the recent revelation. It's not that we're being precious about it, it just seems like such a lapse in etiquette is indicative of the way she sees her, and me. However, we don't want to make a mountain out of a molehill, and don't want to cast a pall on her wedding and the friendship generally. I know how annoying it can be to balance the competing priorities of a wedding too. WIBTAH if I skipped out on the double date.